Wonderful. In my previous talks, I have told through science and technology and all other fields, we have made a tremendous advancement. Humanity have achieved so much discoveries, inventions, and so on. But unfortunately, often we get to see that as a whole, humanity has forgotten spirituality. This spirituality is the thing which enables human beings to become more matured in thinking. If at all they have to think, they need to think a larger cause, betterment of the whole world. Like we all belong to one space, universal brotherhood, that we all belong to one. If you go to some other planet and you meet people from Earth, how happy you will become. Oh, are you also from Earth? I am also from Earth. Like that. It is time that we ask all of us, are you also from this space? I am also from the space. Let us love and honor each other. Let us be harmonious to each other and to ourselves. First, it is essential that we become harmonious to ourselves. That is the essence of spiritual teachings, and particularly the highest meditation technique, perhaps practiced in ancient India, which was given to our Guru, Shiva Balayogi, at the age of 14 by the manifestation of divine Shiva, who came as a Jangama sage from a fruit. For the modern day thinkers, this might appear, it's like believe it or not. Though none of others saw this incident, there were other friends with him, another 11 friends who were playing with him, and he sat. They saw him sitting for meditation only, but did not say anything else. But what the world saw was the amazing transformation, a determined effort to sit down for 18 to 20 hours to 22 hours in a stretch and practice the stillness of the mind. Imagine to keep the mind quiet. That's why he said, when you are able to keep the mind quiet for 1 hour, that is the real meditation. You can tell you are meditating. Till then you are trying to meditate. And when one is able to do at least 8 to 10 hours of such meditation, keeping the mind quiet and totally focused into single pointedness, that is when one is able to do tapas. However, when we talk of meditation or tapas of long hours, one must not lose heart. There is nothing that impossible. That is one assuring thing that we were taught since childhood. It may be very difficult, but it's not impossible. Slowly, one by one. First we try to achieve 1 hour of steady sitting, comfortably sitting. When you sit for 1 hour, you must appear very comfortable, both physically and mentally. The mind should have settled down, and then slowly it can be increased. In one day, there is no need that we have to go for a 20-hour meditation. 20 minutes, half an hour. That's what we try to encourage people, beginners. People go to college and research work, but the teacher at the primary nursery level is so important. We always show our reverence to such teachers who taught us when we were in nursery and primary school. They taught us courage, determination, not to give up, never look back. That's how we learnt the mantras of determination, dedication, discipline, and patience. Meditation means you pay attention. Just now, if you see, your attention is onto this world, appearance of this world, and also to the imaginations that are in your mind. So you are totally attentive to those things, either wondering, either happy or unhappy, either tense or stressed out, either excited, anything it can be. Either could be anger or could be generating lot of greed, lust, so many things that humans face. Now, meditation here is recommended for the purpose that instead of getting preoccupied with your own imagination and to this world more than that is necessary, you learn to pay attention to yourself. When I tell pay attention to yourself means your real self, not the personality that you would have imagined connected to this body or any other imaginations of the world. When all these imaginations stop, that's what the basic aim of the technique. When we tell you have to concentrate in between eyebrows of your mind and sight and just keep watching there by focusing the attention. Just watch, gazing in between eyebrows. That means slowly it enables you to give up your preoccupation with your own mental imaginations. All thoughts and visions disappear. Disappear doesn't mean that you will lose ability to imagine or be creative. You can always be creative, but you need to be master to yourself. Whatever you do, you should be the master, whether you drive a car or you fly an aircraft or you are working on a computer, anywhere, in any way. You need to be master to yourself so that whenever there is a need, you should be able to stop. You know when and where and how to stop. That's very important. That's what the mind is meant for. Mind is meant so that you think only when there is a need. You become creative when there is a need. But you don't have to lose your control, that it can make you miserable. When you don't need, you must be able to stop the mind. And when you are able to stop the mind for a long time totally, then your attention goes to your real self. That means, as Adi Shankara tells in Viveka Chudamani, when you come face to the truth, and at that time when your consciousness, he doesn't tell of the mind there, because by then the mind would have become pure consciousness. When you come face to your consciousness, and when that consciousness is not into any type of imagination, know that existence as the truth. This is possible for you to achieve if you simply follow the technique, what I want you to do. I want you to get up means just get up. I want you to sit down means sit down. Trust me. Have faith in yourself. Be confident that you can do this. So that's very important. And now understand the technique. There is no such need that you have to do tapas today itself. You can practice for 20 days, 20 minutes, for 1 hour, half an hour. Also in this world, I have told anybody who practices meditation will become the most matured person in this world. Such a person's behavior will be very composed and applying the proper wisdom. Such a person can restrain himself or herself easily, won't give away to lent anger or greed. Such a person will work only for the need. Once that need is done, he will become quiet and contented. He won't be anger unnecessarily, not to harm others, just to make hissing noise, that is all. He will control himself. He won't be unnecessarily criticizing others or feeling jealous of others. He will be able to appreciate others. He will be able to see a larger cause. No stress, At all times, no problem attitude, at peace and composed. That is the achievement in this world. And if you want to pursue, you can know yourself how you exist as the eternal entity beyond the birth and death of this physical body. That is possible to know and become aware, not simply knowing by others talking or books reading. All these things are to motivate yourself, to feel inspired. However, if you need to become knowing of yourself, means you have to become aware of that truth mentally in your consciousness. Just like when I tell you are an American, you are always aware that because you are in America, you were born and brought up in America, and that's why you are an American. You are aware of that. You won't be getting confused. Why is Babaji calling me an American? If I call by your name, you will know by the physical body. But now, if I call you, oh, Mr. Consciousness, you would be wondering, oh, what's it Babaji addressing me as Mr. Consciousness? That is what the ancient sages addressed, Atman, the substance that which has substantial existence value. It is not simply an inert, it is supremely consciousness. So that's what precisely you can know when you practice meditation. You can live a stress-free life. How about having happiness at all times, 12 months, 24 hours? That's what exactly I thought as a boy of 10-year-old. Why is that we don't have this peace and happiness all the time? Sometimes we feel excited, sometimes there is an unknown fear, unknown stress. It must not be there. That there must be something. Is there something wrong in me or something wrong in this world? That's how I used to think, which led me towards spirituality. To understand the teachings of the Upanishads, the great masters like Ramana Maharshi of Tiruvannamalai, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and Adi Shankaracharya, and so many, several others are there from time to time. Masters have come in different parts of the world who have tried to teach the ultimate truth and also to live peacefully, happily. That was another thing I used to think. Why is that humans are always against each other? Why can't they live for each other? So, this is meditation. Meditating means you have to pay attention to yourself and become about aware of yourself as that eternal entity. That is the essence of meditation, means paying your attention to. Now, so I'll be telling the technique. All of you relax, forget the outside world, mentally also relax, keep your body relaxed, gentle, always be gentle to yourself. Don't be in a rush, don't feel irritated, don't give up anything. If it doesn't happen today, no problem, there is tomorrow. There is another day, we will try again and again. We are not going to give up till the last breath of our life. That's what we were taught by our masters. It is worth it. This is how, when you are absorbed, 30 minutes can go by like 2 minutes. 1 hour can go by like 1 minute. You won't notice the time when you are absorbed and silent and be aware of yourself. Well, slowly and slowly like this, practice. I'll be with you all. Now we will take some questions. Agastya.
Thank you, Baba. I have a question. Shiva Balayogi, your guru, defined meditation as the ability to maintain unwavering, one-pointed focus for 1 hour. So, so that means that meditation is essentially unwavering attention,
Yes,
unwavering focus on one
exactly.
thing. So, what that's doing then is the attention's on one thing. It's not allowed to go to the mind's projections, the thoughts and imaginations. Is that what's essentially happening?
Then automatically its attention turns to itself. Eventually, the seeker would notice that the mind is now watching itself. That's what we call going introvert. Because mind is made up of both consciousness and energy. Consciousness means here, wherever you are able to apply your consciousness, you become aware of it. Just like when I am talking, all your attention, if it is on me, of what I am talking, then your mind will absorb the right meaning of what I am trying to convey. So that is the essence of paying attention or concentration, achieving single pointedness. So if it is not preoccupied with its own imaginations anymore, it has given up and all thoughts and visions have vanished. Its attention turns to itself. It becomes aware of itself.
Okay, so now initially though, there is some effort involved in when you start to hold the attention there. It doesn't necessarily want to stay. It wanders, it gets absorbed into the thoughts, and then you remind yourself to come back and you focus and it comes off and goes back. And what is it that's actually, is it the mind that's focusing the attention or the awareness between the eyebrows?
As long as the thoughts and visions are there, we call the same substance as mind. When the thoughts and visions are not there, we call it as pure consciousness. And then it becomes a pure awareness. Because consciousness can jump back into mind by trying to define, trying to analyze, or trying to make a judgment of what it is. Whereas awareness is a pure, infinite, without attributions, without definitions, no explanations. It's just becoming aware of itself. It won't even think what I am. It is simply aware of that.
Baba, often in deep meditation, the attention will stay fixed, but yet there'll be thoughts in the background, but the mind doesn't go to the thoughts. You know, you continue to watch and you become more and more absorbed. So like even when you were doing tapas, you had thoughts, you had visions and things going on, although I assume you were in a state of meditation.
Yeah, slowly it is getting detached from the thoughts, and that means it is also, mind is also getting detached from the brain's reflections. So for a while those thoughts all appear, but it will become vague, dull, and dull means the picture quality decreases, the megapixels that decreases slowly. It is a vague, like in dreams sometimes the picture quality could be very solid. When you get up also, you won't forget what you dreamt. For years you may not be able to forget also. But sometimes, so by the time you are up in the morning, you would have forgotten what you actually saw. You would be wondering, something I dreamt, something I dreamt. That means the picture quality was very vague. The pixels had decreased. So that is what is happening in those times. Like that, finally, when one does tapas, that picture one more time increases just before disappearing. Just like the tiger before falling down would like to roar and come on attacking. That's how your own visions, your own imaginations try to get revived one more time. So that is the ability to remain quiet and just watch. Even when a manifestation happens, the master teaches, just do not react, just keep quiet, just watch. So then it disappears.
Baba, don't all forms of meditation at some point come to that point where you actually have to do this type of dhyan, where you watch without reacting? Whether it's a mantra or breathing, or some point you have to let go of all of that and just watch without reacting.
Exactly. I have told the chant of a mantra or trying to focus on some anchor is like a preliminary round exercise to practice single pointedness of the mind. But eventually, you have to abandon everything, give up so that the mind can go to itself. That's only when it will go, it won't be stuck to any object, any anchor. And that is also why this method of meditation, which was practiced in ancient India, one of the highest method, also my guru obtained this from the manifestation of divine Shiva, who came as a Jangama sage. He passed it on to us. Is like directly you are giving the mind a practice to become quiet on its own without any external anchor, just like getting recruited as an officer. That's what I have explained. So when you practice silently, just watch. There is nothing for the mind to hold on as an anchor. Actually, the mind is watching itself. That's what you will realize.
One last question, Baba. There's a little confusion the way the word consciousness is used, because we think of consciousness as knowingness, such as being sentient. I'm conscious. Oh, I was unconscious. But also we think of consciousness as the fundamental, universal substance, if you would, of all manifest existence.
Exactly. That's why explaining about the mind, also I have told how mind itself is infinite. Mind is recognized by everybody based on the thoughts and visions that are in the mind. My mind wants to think like this. My mind wants to go there. I want to go there. The things gets converted. So there is no difference between I and mind actually. That's what we will realize eventually. In the same way, consciousness also. So in the consciousness, there is imagination. Then this consciousness comes to be known as mind. So, but because in the consciousness there is an imagination, this consciousness becomes conscious of that thought. That's what happens. So when it gives up, that consciousness, which was conscious of the thought, becomes aware of itself. Then both consciousness disappear, only awareness remains. That's how everything is finally illusion. For sake of understanding only, we try to use the nearest imagination to give a clue, which is the right one. So here, consciousness and energy are the nearest imaginations which I can think of to give a clue to the student. Then finally, this also vanishes and awareness. And after that, some other time.
Thank you, Baba.
Not too much of a dose.
Thank you, Baba.
Good day, Babaji. Yesterday, I set a meditation using your app, 15 minutes meditation. But there was a moment when I was feeling like entering a different dimension. I didn't understand, but my breathing starts to be faster. My heart starts to beat faster, and I felt my hands cold and my feet, and I was scared. But I didn't open my eyes. I just tried to control my breathing and continued. But after that, I was like scared. I didn't understand why it happened. In the past, I have had some panic attack episodes, and it was similar to a panic attack. It was like the beginning of a panic attack. in the middle of the meditation.
Ah, this experience of a different dimension is also a mental projection, because mind in different incarnations has been diluted, splitting into billions and billions of layers. So it keeps on imagining. So when you practice meditation, all these layers start becoming into one single pointed during that time. So depending on the previous experience, such a vision can occur. So there is nothing to fear. If you just watch, all you have to do is just watch without trying to analyze or wanting to know what it is, because it can be mind boggling. It will suck your consciousness and take you away in illusion. So just watch any such experience, it will all disappear. Have firm conviction that it's only a mental projection and nothing will happen to you. You are perfectly all right. So then you will see that your heartbeat and your everything will cool down and compose, will start going on smoothly. That is very important.
Thank you.
सादर प्रणाम to Babaji, आपके चरणों में. And I got a chance to meet with you sometime back in Long Island through Arunji. And I really enjoy this meditation session. And when I do feel a lot of blessings and energy showering. But I am a very strong practitioner of Gayatri Mantra. So when I start meditation, and I do meditation every day, so automatically Gayatri Mantra I start chanting, because this is inside in my mind, or all my cells are chanting. But after some time, I do feel like there is a quiet moment which stays for 5 to 10 minutes. And then I see a lot of colors, clouds, and very quiet, like I am somewhere which I don't know where I am. And then I feel like I'm flying. And then I open my eyes, and then again I start and again start chanting. And again it happens. So what should I do to control this?
Continue with the mantra for some more time and then try to maintain silence, just watching in between eyebrows. In the beginning, because you are so used to Gayatri Mantra, it is no problem. That's also a wonderful thing. So that has enabled you to become more concentrated, achieved lot of concentration. When the mind becomes more concentrated, it tries to get detached from the brain's clutches. So that is when you experience lot of colors as if you are flying, because the consciousness becomes very light. Its load on the brain decreases, then it feels liberated. So that is when you experience as if you are flying. So simply an experience in consciousness which does not happen really in any way. So you just continue the meditation. Try to be silent sometimes for 5 minutes, whatever that's possible. In spite of that, if the mantra comes, let you chant the mantra. It's no problem. After some time, it will go away on its own. The divine will grace upon you, and he will drink that, and he will finish and make you silent totally.
Okay, one more question. When I do meditation, also like we are worldly being and we have a lot of things keep going on, like this should happen, this should be done. So sometimes I have some kind of imagination like, okay, this work should be done and this is the way it should be done. And I start planning those things while doing meditation. Is that a good way to do?
Not really. During meditation, you must stop. You have to meditate on single pointedly only, because you can always plan and work in this world after the meditation. So during meditation, you must avoid. If any such thought comes, just watch the thought so that further you don't get involved with the thought. Then the thought will disappear. Otherwise, the thought and plans will suck you into the worldliness, too much more than necessary. Here, you are trying to meditate so that the mind becomes single pointed and turns to itself. That's what eventually you have to achieve. So you must try not to get involved, not to go into too much of planning, and you can assure yourself positively, I can do this work afterwards. Just now, let me meditate only.
Very nice. Thank you, Babaji. And Sat Sat Naman, Sadar Pranam.
Thank you, Babaji, for this great opportunity. Some of my question has been answered already by listening to the other people's question and your answer. But I've been concentrating very carefully and a lot between my eyebrows, and I noticed that really tones down the thoughts. And sometimes I really feel, oh, there's no, I'm aware of there not being thought, and that feels very light and such a relief. But today, when I was meditating, just now, a thought came up which was very disturbing, and immediately I said, "Oh, just watch." And then I thought, well, watch what? Do I go back to watching between my eyebrows, or do I watch this drama, this thought drama that seems to be collecting energy? And if that's the case, then I'd have to abandon my intense concentration between my eyebrows. So that's the first part of my question.
So it's better if you can pay concentration, attention here only in between eyebrows. Even if any such thought or a vision occurs, try to bring that vision or thought into in between eyebrows and just watch there without analyzing or thinking of what it is. Then that will disappear.
Yes, good. That was my inclination, but I had a doubt. I thought, oh, maybe I'm supposed to watch this unfolding. No, here.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. Then in real life, in unreal life, I know I'm going to be up against some things that are going to be very aggravating, and I've decided I will do my best to concentrate here, and not to be terribly reactive, to kind of calm the flames. Do you have any advice or direction for that?
Yeah, if you practice this meditation daily, regularly as a discipline for 1 hour and achieve more and more quietness, then in your life on this earth also, whenever, wherever necessary, you will be able to restrain yourself, keep yourself cool and calm, and then you can think more positively for a larger cause, what has to happen. You will be able to make better judgments and better decisions, which will not be harmful to yourself. You might be only defending yourself, and you won't become extreme anger or extremism about others or any such action. Only that much that is necessary to the need. So you will be overall a more matured person.
So today and tomorrow, I'll just recall, I have to use my mind to remember what my goals are as far as being calm and, and I have lots of tools that way. I can look at a person and imagine that they're suffering too, and that really all they want is happiness. I can use those mental faculties. And I know that over time, this will all change with me, and it'll be more natural for me to feel calm. But in the short term, like today and tomorrow, use my mind, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Hey, Babaji, I have a few questions. One is, while I'm meditating, sometimes I get to a state where all the thoughts stop. So basically, I'm in a state where there are no thoughts. So the question is this the ultimate goal? And then what to do from there? What's next after that?
Yeah, that is the first achievement actually you have to do, so that that which hitherto was a mind and was attentive to the thoughts, when there are no thoughts, so that mind would become pure consciousness of existence. See, now also, amongst millions of thoughts that might be in your mind, one thing is the consciousness of your existence. It is not a thought, it is a reality. Because you will be able to remove all thoughts and all visions, but you cannot make yourself disappear or unconscious in meditation. That is what is the important point. So then the attention would have gone to itself. The consciousness attention would have gone to itself, giving you the awareness of your real self. At that time, all secrets about yourself will be revealed. You just have to continue achieving this thoughtlessness state and be able to naturally, effortlessly remain in that state for a long time. The rest will automatically happen.
I see. So after that, the goal is to actually keep prolonging that state, make it longer and longer.
Yes, yes. So that
Because
it
I do.
effortlessly, naturally remains like that at all times.
Okay, because I do feel a tremendous energy when that happens, and it's almost like unbearable, and that kind of brings me back to thoughts and stuff. But yeah, when there are no thoughts, the energy is incredible.
Because both consciousness and energy are inseparably, they are one entity. That is what is known as consciousness and energy, Shiva and Shakti. That's what you get a glimpse of experience, and you have to hold on to it calmly, peacefully, fully attentively onto that. So it will be all right, it will settle down.
I see. So okay. So I'm gonna get used to that energy, basically.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. That clarifies it. And can you please explain what's the relationship between consciousness and mind? I'm trying to grasp, to understand how do they relate and how do they function and how should we see them?
See, consciousness has the ability to be creative, to imagine. When it
Okay.
imagines, then the thoughts appear. Thoughts are there because of the imagination of the consciousness. When thoughts starts remaining in the consciousness, same consciousness comes to be known as mind in this world for sake of understanding. It is the same substance. Mind and consciousness are not different.
I see. So the imagination comes from consciousness, basically, and that
Yeah.
generates thoughts.
Yes, yes. When it gives up imagination, it is known as pure consciousness.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Babaji. I really appreciate it.
Babaji, I had two questions, if I may. One is that when my mind sees me, approaching that zone of quietude, and I recognize the deeper space, sometimes with that almost like an excitement, oh, I've reached it, it draws back, and I have to figure
Yeah.
out how to continue going.
Avoid trying to think that I have reached it. Just keep going. Because it's like when you are fast walking on the road and you want to look back how far you have come. So, because you are walking very fast, if you try to look, you might lose balance of the body and might fall down. Or you will have to stop, then turn back and look. So, you are wasting so much of time. So much of time is gone. you could have reached some more distance. So like that, keep going. Don't try to look back. Don't try to measure. Don't try to think. Don't give rise to any excitement until it reaches, becomes uncomposed naturally, effortlessly.
Thank you. The second question I had was, I see around me in the family, in the community, a great deal of pain, especially of women, from gender issues, race issues. How can we help?
uh, People being negative or what about gender
No,
issues?
people who are hurt, they need healing. Is there
Okay.
any way we can help?
Yeah, you can counsel them. You see what happens, unfortunately, in the society, because of gender issues keep happening. First thing, we may not be able to change the whole world in one go, but at least we can try to change ourselves. So we are hurt only when we are defenseless. We don't have proper defense forces. We get hurt. So first we strengthen our defense forces, mentally become strong. Just because somebody tells us, we don't have to become that. You think, tell them you don't have to need any certificate from anybody. What you are is more important than what others think about you. So that is what we were all taught psychologically. So any gender issues, anybody trying to hurt anyone, so first they need not worry about such certificate. You don't depend on them. You are, you are. So what you are, it is you are. So counsel them like this and be with them. They will regain. And if they take up spiritual practices like meditation, they will feel very confident. They will have more faith in themselves and they will become more strong mentally.
Thank you so much.
Namaste, Babaji. Thank you so much for being here with us again every week almost. My question is about the breath, and this is something I should have discovered probably long ago, and I did it kind of in a way. But I tend to have very shallow breathing, and I always knew that when I was in a meditative state and to go deeper into that energetic resonance that happens, I can increase the breath. But, you know, as I'm sitting here just meditating, I realized that I could be breathing deeper and my focus goes away from the watching into including the breath so I can go deeper into meditation. So I'm trying to find the balance with that, right? To pull away from the breath, but to breathe deeper, to go deeper into meditation and still not be focused on the body, but to be focused on the watching point. Do you have any help for that?
You see, the breathing needs to go smoothly and mechanically, whereas your attention needs to be in between eyebrows. Otherwise, if your attention goes there and tries to bring here, you will get disturbed. The attention gets disturbed and the quietness may not happen. So, for this, before meditation, for a couple of minutes, try to do the long inhale and exhale of the breath smoothly. That's what the pranayamas, that a couple of things that I have also taught in my classes. So you take that one, 2 to 4 minutes, and then try to meditate. So slowly you will see that you will be able to get detached your attention from the breath, but the breath goes on smoothly to keep the body alive.
Yeah, thank you. I think I've just become conscious how shallow I really do breathe. And I think maybe it's an all over life exercise that I need to incorporate into this as well.
Exactly.
Thank you, Babaji.
Baba, Shiva Balayogi called this technique of meditation Jangama dhyana, meditation on eternal existence. Would you explain a little bit about that name and what exactly is meditation on eternal existence?
Well, one day when we were walking on the balcony of Dehradun ashram, he just asked me like this, what if we call this meditation as a Jangama dhyana? And then he explained, Jangama means eternal existence. Opposite word to the Jangama is the Sthavara. Sthavara means impermanent universe. Universe. So Shiva means the all-pervaded, omnipresent, that supreme consciousness is the Jangama. So actually, when quietly you are trying to concentrate your mind and sight in between eyebrow, you are trying to watch that Jangama, that eternal existence, that which is infinite, that which is the real self also, self-realization. So when you totally become aware of that. So that's how those words were explained to me by Swamiji. So that's why Jangama Dhyana means you pay attention onto the eternal existence. You become aware of that yourself is that eternal existence.
Beautiful. Baba, there is a saying that I'm fond of. I'd like to hear you comment on it. It's liberation isn't of the person, it's from the person.
You see, it is from the person of the person, in fact. Because, see, you are the one who have binded yourself by making judgments and absorbing imprints. And you are the one who has to liberate yourself from this binding. So that's why I said it is by the person, of the person. Both.
Because you bound yourself by getting attached to all the concepts, imaginations.
Judgments and concepts. And you have to liberate yourself. When you become quiet, you would have liberated yourself.
Thank you, Baba.
Baba, I have one question related to our previous discussion. So is liberation, is it that state where there are no thoughts in your mind? Can you help me maybe put that in perspective to understand what we're
You
talking
see,
about?
thoughts coming itself is not a bondage. As long as you simply imagine, and when there is no need, you don't imagine. That's what I'm trying to tell. It is not a bondage. But you imagine and you are unable to give up that imagination, and you consider that imagination as a reality, fundamental reality, and absorb it as an attitude, as an assumption. So that is how you bind yourself. Whatever your mind says, you start believing it as the truth. Just like a foe might appear as a friend might appear as a foe to the mind. So that is what is bondage. So you have to liberate yourself from that bondage by knowing the truth. So whatever brain reflects, whatever you imagine need not be the truth. An imagination can never be the truth. We also tell mind can never give away the truth because it gives only what it imagines. An imagination gives rise to an appearance and then it disappears. A thing that appears and disappears cannot be the truth. But if you consider it as a truth, you are binding yourself to that concept of assumption. So that is what is bondage and liberating yourself from such assumptions, from such concepts.
So as long as you're aware of the imagination and the activity of the mind, then you're basically freeing yourself from that bondage.
Exactly. I'll just try to give a clue. See if all of you can understand. This world, this universe is there, but nobody really knows what it is. We, humanity, whenever we have come across, we consider it that appearance as a truth and we have named it for sake of our own understanding and communication. So thus, all in all fields, whatever terminologies that have been used is all for only for sake of understanding and communication and need not be the truth. We call earth as earth, that we have assumed this as earth, and we call it and address it as earth for sake of our communication and understanding. And earth could be something else. Like space, we consider space as space, a void place, a criteria comes into the mind. But it need not be so. It could be something else when we know the truth. So that is how imaginations and assumptions have given us the concepts by making the judgment. And we hold on to that stubbornly. That becomes our ego. So that is how these things all sit there. We bind ourselves into that. We have to liberate. Finally, the truth is beyond any imagination we tell, any terminology, any explanation. You become totally silent. It is also said by Ramana Maharshi of Tiruvannamalai, a yogi conveys the right message by remaining silent.
Mm. Awesome. This was tremendously helpful. Thank you very much.
I have a question on this is trying to articulate it well, but basically my understanding is that the eternal consciousness is present in every being in the world or this Maya, but why is it that I am only sort of aware of this perspective, through this lens of this body? But it seems like because it's all pervaded, you should, when you become more self-aware, I guess, do you have that? It seems like that would be the case, but there's so many different reflections, different bodies, different people having different experiences.
You see, based on my experience, today I will tell a couple of truths. This perspective, what you are talking, has become like this because a small droplet of that supreme consciousness is stuck with the brain's reflections. So, thus, itself has considered as a narrow physical body as me, and then mine. That's how the trouble starts. This world, everybody wants to own the whole world as much as possible. We want to own the country, we want to own the world, we want to own the Milky Way, everything. We want whatever is possible, we want to own. And the problem starts desires after desires, millions and millions. We lose our peace. Away in this process, we have lost awareness of our real self also, that we are that ocean. We have become bubble and we are thinking this bubble, and we are going into a head-on collision with this world, thinking everything belongs to this bubble. So that is what has happened. So realizing the truth is liberating that ourselves. We are not just this droplet, we are one with that ocean. When you come to know of that ocean as yourself, it is not that you have become an ocean. You are already ocean existed. As from a droplet, you merge with the ocean. So there is no ego there also. All ego disappears. When you become tiger itself, anything about tiger, the ego disappears. Outside the tiger, you keep thinking about the tiger. Outside that real self, you keep thinking about that self and wanting to know. Many people want to know this just to achieve some powers to control this world. Knowledge and wisdom, how many are really interested in this thing? People want powers. So that's when they get cheated. They cheat themselves, they cheat others. But the truth is something else, a real self. That's what we try to create an awareness and advocate for people to go for self realization.
Thank you. That's beautiful. I just had one other quick question, which was you talk about the 6 shapes of the mind, and there's also, I guess, where does love, fall into that? Is like love the closest sort of emotion that is with, with God, or
You see,
how do you?
love, trying to understand, we can shape into two. One is you love just for sake of love. That is divinity. But if you love and want something of this world, that is lust and greed. One love, if it is just from soul to soul, you just love for sake of love and you don't expect. You love your guru and you don't expect anything from the guru. Let guru behave whatever way you want. Let him slap you, let him kiss you. You don't mind. You accept it. That is the divinity.
Thank you.
Pranam Babaji. You mentioned in your book that towards the end of your tapas, you realized that creation never happened. And Swamiji also said creation never happened. But there are some who believe that both creation and the consciousness are equally real, like fire and its power to burn. When you think of fire, you think of its power to burn. And when you think of power to burn, you automatically think of fire. What are your views on that?
You see, what we experience, there is the power for the consciousness to be creative. Just like your mind can produce thoughts, if it is a supreme consciousness, enormous power of consciousness can create. But a seeker is advised not to go into these dualities if the aim is self realization and merging with the self. So that's what a real yogi teaches us. Our master also taught because of that one. So when we say that, we don't declare it as a universal policy, just my experience, and whoever will come to me as a student, as a seeker, we would advise them also not to bother about this point, because this is an amazing illusion. So just now you have to just go for the self and eventually merge with the self to achieve supreme peace. If you get involved into this duality, there is a fire and a fire power and the power to create fire, then you will get involved into this creation again and again, life after life, life after life. You get involved and you are likely to lose your supreme peace and awareness of your real self. So that is the reason we try to teach about this truth.
Thank you, Babaji, for these wonderful meditation sessions. They're simple but so profound, and they make such a big difference in our lives. And thank you for that. Coming from a very sublime and profound question, I have a very mundane one to ask you. Is it so that when we meditate, our need for sleep at night diminishes?
Yeah, you say brain needs rest. When you practice meditation, as you achieve more and more concentration, the mind starts getting detached from the brain. Means its load on the brain decreases, thus giving the brain lot of rest. You will use it only to the need. Sometimes I have told in my teaching, unknown to us, we exert so much of energy on the brain. Like you can live in this world with just $1, but unknown to you, you are spending thousands of dollars of energy. Your energy is applied. So that's when you would need 7 to 8 hours of sleep. But if you are meditating regularly, as the load decreases, so your brain gets enormous rest also, and you will be using the brain whenever necessary. When it's not necessary, you will not be worrying, you will be giving rest to the brain. So that's why less sleep will also cover the necessary rest to the brain.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Babaji.
Thank you so much for, it's very late, I know, in the night. So thank you for taking my question. I have a follow-up question, sort of another gentleman who asked earlier about um, like creation never happened. And I've read other saints like Ramana Maharshi. He always sit in silence and sort of like in a different world. And other saints, everybody said that this is a dream. And truly, I believe that, once you realize, maybe it becomes a dream, you realize. But my question is for so many people, right? See, we have 70 odd participants here who are trying to meditate and, trying towards that. But there are like 7 billion people, and I see so many people who are suffering. For them, this is a reality, and it's a very difficult reality, because some of them are even not aware that there is something like this outside this world exists. uh, they are either in such a difficult place because of their circumstances, or health issues. So is it all their destiny, or they, I mean, how can they get out of it? Are they going to be in eternal ignorance, life after life?
You know, first thing, sitting here, we never try to teach it as a policy or as a definition that this world that is appearing in front of us and where there is conflicts, sufferings, good, bad, everything appears, whether this is real or not. First thing I have tried to teach is all we need to understand, this world is impermanent. At least I hope you will agree that one. Today it is
Yes.
there, tomorrow it may not be there. So that is all. More than that, we don't go into an argument now. I will give some clue, a couple of clues, just for sake of understanding. Like when you are dreaming, as long as you are dreaming, that dream appears so solid, perfect, and reality. Even if I come in the dream and tell you, oh, this is only a dream, what you are seeing, your mind may not grasp or understand or accept that truth. Only when you get out of that dream, you realize that you were dreaming. Where were you dreaming? The location also you cannot show. Okay, this is the place I was dreaming, or this is the place. Maybe some scientific research may tell कि a portion of the brain, this may create a dream. But what about the experience of mind? Like that, as long as you are in this dream, it is impossible to realize this as a dream. This is one thing. Another thing is for you to ponder over sufferings. All these things happens. One is physical suffering. It is inevitable for everyone. Birth, illness, and death, aging process, all these things does happen. And there is another suffering, human conflicts, human trying to inflict on each other. This is also a very sad thing. We always advise for human beings to live in harmony, to help each other. Whenever a tsunami happens, earthquake happens, any pandemic happens, we consider that is the divine's grace and alertness to humanity, that you all need each other. Learn to live for each other. Learn to considerate about each other. This is what we have to teach about this world. When the mind becomes attached to a certain thing, then the mind suffers. If anything happens to that certain thing, then the mind suffers. When we become attached to another person, considering him to be our own, whether by any relation, whether by any other thing, or any property, or anything of this world, then our mind suffers. This is what Ramana Maharishi also spoke about it. Okay, when Swami Yogananda asked him why this world suffers, Ramana said कि only the mind suffers. So these are some of the truth to ponder over. Otherwise, we don't insist of any particular policy or particular truth that this world exists or doesn't exist. That is afterwards. First thing we need to understand is this world is impermanent. There is, including our own physical body. So there is a chance for us to realize the truth, the permanent entity of about ourselves. And while we are alive in this world, it is our duty to help each other. I agree with that one. So this is my viewpoint. All my love and blessing. Some very beautiful questions came up, giving me an opportunity to share my experiences, my opinion about certain truths about this world, about the real self, about mind, about consciousness, all these things. I appreciate all your participation by taking out your precious times. This is worth it. So we will be coming back again. And now we take leave of you all with your permission. Bye bye to all.